It's Sunday morning, it's Devon, England, Dartington Hall. It's really early, it's sunny, and it's raining at the same time. I don't know if you could see that. It's just misting down on me in a very, very magical way. The flowers are fantastic, the bees are out, and I just wanted to share this moment with you, and I hope you get a sense of it. So Julian Freeman from the Stars of Wellbeing, and I'm here with Matthew Rushford. We're doing a workshop at the lovely Dartington space, and just thought I'd spend a little bit of time talking to Matthew about the kind of meditative qualities of Tai Chi. So what do you reckon, Matthew? What can you tell us about the meditative qualities of Tai Chi?
Where do you want to start? So Tai Chi is commonly referred to as a moving meditation, and there are many levels that we can approach that with. So for example, when we first start Tai Chi, the first couple of years, we want to really get into a very calm state of mind, and the mind really connected to the sensations of the body moving smoothly. And this is a great place to start, and this is kind of like the foundation of the meditative aspect of Tai Chi. Once we've kind of established that foundation, then we can go a bit deeper. We can go to a deeper connection with the processes in the body, and a very deliberate way of working with the mind. So that's when Tai Chi kind of gets even more juicy, even more interesting. But certainly the meditative side of Tai Chi is really an essential part of the practice, and it leads people to feel more peaceful, more calm, more present, and less cluttered in the mind. And this is great.
I certainly find that I've been doing it for about 18 months now, maybe a little bit longer, and what I find is that it gives me, I finish my practice every day and it's like having a clean slate. I feel very calm, my mind feels clear.
Excellent.
You're saying there's levels beyond that for me?
Well, that once the mind gets clear, then you can start to really refine the movements and refine what you're doing with the Tai Chi. So it becomes a whole process of exploration. So the initial exploration, if you like, is to get the body to roughly do the right thing. Then the mind can get trained to be quite calm.
Yeah.
Then we can continually refine the process, basically, which doesn't seem to end. It makes it really interesting, makes it really enjoyable, because there's always new things to discover.
And what kind of things can I look forward to in the going deeper, beyond this kind of initial calmness?
The ability to really directly affect the quality within the body using your mind. So when you choose to be really smoothly moving away from the front foot, for example, to really sinking and releasing and relaxing into the center of each posture. So you get a different quality going in the body at different times in the form.
So it kind of sounds like a kind of more like an introspection, like the Swamis would kind of talk about, having more of an internal control as opposed to an external view of the world, feeling the world much more internally.
Yeah, definitely. It becomes an internal art once we can consciously change the quality within the body. That's when it starts to become internal.
And what kind of power, what kind of intelligence, what does that allow me to access?
I would say it allows us to access a deeper body intelligence, basically. And that carries on into daily life. So, for example, if we choose to relax, then we can. Okay. Very smoothly and easily.
So even when I'm stressed and busy and so on, I can make that choice. I will have more ability to make that choice.
More ability, yes, definitely. That's what Tai Chi teaches us. It teaches us to consciously, intelligently manage our own internal world.
Because one of the things I notice about you, and I've known you for a little while now, but one of the things I notice about you is that you're very kind of calm, pretty much all the time I see you. Is that something you're getting as a result of your practice?
I would say that it's the result of the Tai Chi practice and also the meditation practice that I do. Both of those things. I mean, I do just sitting meditation, for example.
The kind of Buddhist type meditation.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And one helps the other, always. And of course in Tai Chi we do meditation practices. And this has an effect on how we are during our day. So it's all about integration. So the philosophy of Tai Chi, for example, can come into daily life. The effects of our practice can come into daily life. And this is what helps us to remain relatively calm even when situations are pressured and difficult.
Okay.
And this is what we need, basically, because life is very stressful.
It's a hectic life nowadays, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and it's getting more so.
Yeah.
I mean, we've noticed it in our lifetime.
Sure.
And it doesn't seem to be much, it doesn't seem to be slowing up. And there are new pressures arising in daily life all the time. For example, with others, economic pressures, fear and anxiety, depression, all of these things are on the increase. And we definitely need things that will reduce the effects of them so we can manage those things ourselves more effectively. So we don't have to rely so much on medication, expensive psychiatrists or psychotherapists, and all of those things are valid, but we also need to empower ourselves, and that's why I think Tai Chi is really relevant to the challenges that we currently face.
So you're saying that even though it's an ancient art, it's kind of even more relevant today than it was than it's ever been.
I wouldn't necessarily say it was more relevant. It may be more relevant, but it's definitely as relevant. I've studied the history of Tai Chi, and looking back, just to the mid-19th century, China was a pretty chaotic place, and things were very uncertain. There was kind of a lot of sort of regional violence, for example, and a lot of power struggles going on. And those things are pretty difficult to deal with. I think luckily we don't have that in this country so much. So the Tai Chi practitioners of that time were tapping in to the same resource that we're tapping into now, but we're doing it in a different, the conditions are different now, but still as relevant, and really powerful. Even 10 minutes practice a day makes a big difference. Even one lesson can make a difference to somebody.
Well, certainly two things I'd say there. One is, I find that I do, 10 or 15 minutes a day, that's about it.
Great.
And over the course of days, the effect of it really builds up for me.
Yes.
And it allows me to kind of recharge or hit the reset button once a day, which is lovely. And then having done this stuff this morning that we've done, I've just got something out of it already, which was that I came here really, really busy, and it just slowed me right down and took me back to a really centered place, which was lovely.
That ability that Tai Chi gives us to kind of press that reset button, it gives us a mental holiday. It gives us a holiday from the busyness of everyday life, and we're doing it ourselves. That's the amazing thing. We're doing that, and if we do it over time, if we do it regularly over time, it has an accumulative effect. And I love the analogy of drops into a bucket, and eventually the bucket fills and it overflows. And that's kind of how the benefits of Tai Chi work. Just that regular practice, every day or whatever, 3 times a week or whatever we can manage. It has that beautiful accumulative effect, which spreads its influence throughout our lives. Takes time, but the saying, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step.
Sure.
And the first step is the most significant one. Because we've started on our journey.
So just by we've developed, or you developed this Ichi program, which is an online program for people to learn Tai Chi. Just by starting that and engaging with that, they're going to get they're drops in the bucket.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the way we devised Ichi was we made it accessible and achievable, and we approached the learning process from as many angles as possible.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of information in that package, and it takes a while to get familiar with it all. But that's deliberate, because it's not. I wouldn't say Tai Chi was a quick fix. I would say that it's a gradual process.
It's a gentle thing, isn't it? It's not something you rush at.
No, it isn't. In fact, if we do rush at it, the Tai Chi very quickly forces us to stop rushing and to slow down. And a couple of years ago I made a short film called Slow Down, and you can see that on YouTube.
No, I think we'll send it out, was one of the things we send out,
Great, because really that's what we need. It's kind of like, it's the antithesis, isn't it? Tai Chi, when you see Tai Chi, it's really fluid, it's really smooth, and it's very meditative, and it's peaceful to look at. It's the total antithesis of how we live a lot of the time. You know, we live a little bit too fast. We live a little bit too kind of trying to get the next thing.
Yeah.
And Tai Chi is a great antidote to that. And of course, the effects of our stressful lives are psychological and physiological, and Tai Chi addresses both of those things.
Perfect. So, take the ability to take a mental holiday every day. How do you fancy that? And also, the other thing that I love is the idea of being able to choose how you appear in the world and how you respond to what's going outside of you. So, thank you, Matthew. It's been a great morning.
Thank you.
And more Tai Chi, please.
Brilliant. Thanks, Julian.